Techtextil and Texprocess. Be there where progress is made for the future. Experience function and efficiency in person. Get ready for performance and technology at first hand. Here is the place where new impulses from the textile industry come together. Discover new developments and approaches. Exchange unique ideas and gain new knowledge. Feel state-of-the-art fabrics and textiles and explore the most modern machines. Forge new business alliances with professionals from all over the world. Experience the complete spectrum of textile innovations and, of course, the latest sustainable concepts all in one place. It's time for solutions. For all researchers, developers, innovators, and enablers out there. For the whole industry. For you. Be there where the textile sector reinvents itself. At Techtextil and Texprocess, the leading international trade fairs. Let's go beyond innovation and progress. Let's start shifting the limits.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you. Welcome to our press conference. Thank you. Welcome to our press conference for Techtextil and Texprocess here at the fairground at Mesa Frankfurt, while Heimtextil is actually boosting around us still. Happy to see familiar faces. I know it has been 2 very intensive days at Heimtextil already, so it's nice that you took your time and came to this press conference. Now, today we're gonna have a panel talk that actually focusing on the topic of digitalization and how this could help economic growth. Now, as you all know, digitalization is nothing new. I mean, the industries have been discussing this for years and years. We just had the feeling that looking at the challenges and also looking on the demand of smart textiles you've got on the market, it's definitely a good time to talk it again, to discuss it, how it could help the industry to cope with the challenges and to find new innovative products as well. So, my name is Yvonne Seifert. I'm the Director of Marketing Communication for Textiles and Textile Technology, and my team and I are here to assist you, to help you. If you need any information during the fair or even after the fair, just feel free to approach us. Now, the panel talk will be run by Sakis Bustik. He is a moderator and he is also a B2B industry podcast on sustainability. Welcome, Sakis. Always happy working with you. And I think you just take over and introduce all our guests.
Thanks a lot, Yvonne. And a warm welcome to everybody here live in Frankfurt with me in the room, and of course to anybody dialing in globally, joining us on screen. I'm very excited to be moderating the next 30 minutes. Very much looking forward to hopefully a lively and insightful but also frank discussion about the state of affairs when it comes to digitalization in the textile industry. As Yvonne highlighted, of course, digitalization is not the hottest buzzword around. We've been busy with it for years, if not decades already. It's embedded in all our lives, all around us. But I think certainly if you look at it from an industry perspective, we've all come to realize it's not an end goal to be reached. It's an ongoing journey, an ever-evolving process. And certainly also something, if we're honest, if you look in the industry, like everywhere, there's some trailblazers, maybe even some digital-first companies. But if you look at the industry as such, as an ecosystem, there isn't really a coherent level of digitalization really bringing everything together yet. It's more like insular solutions here and there, exciting projects. So, of course, I think while most companies still are looking at it, digitalization as a means to really stay competitive and also are looking at keeping up with ever-evolving innovations every year and are excited about what's happening, what are the new technological opportunities, how can we use them to overcome challenges. I think we still need to discuss it and really dive into it in detail. And something that certainly has changed, that it's not only about competition anymore, but for example, if you look at the European market, of course, it's also the necessary tool to keep up with upcoming regulations around the Green Deal, may it be circular economy, may it be transparency in your supply chains and much more. So I think if you look at 2024, at Techtextil and Texprocess. There's so much to discuss. We only have a couple of minutes, so without further ado, I'll invite on stage some people who are far more knowledgeable into the matters than I am myself. I have three speakers. Please welcome Professor Thomas Gries. He's the director at the Institute of Textile Technologies at the RWTH Aachen University. Welcome. Have a seat with me. Great to have you here in Frankfurt. And also on stage will be Olaf Schmidt, Vice President Textiles and Textile Technologies at the Mesa Frankfurt. Welcome. And last but not least, Elga Straub, Managing Director, Textile Care, Fabric and Leather Technologies at VDMA. Now, Olaf, let me start with you. It's a home play for you.
Yes.
So you arrived earlier than us, already are in the perfect mindset to start. As I managed, digitalization really plays a key role in all our lives. It's so deeply embedded in everything we do. Of course, also for the textile industry, it brought about really deep running changes. It will be bringing more and more changes and changing the industry as such. You are at the helm of the two really world-leading fairs and exhibition when it comes to that, with Techtextil and Texprocess. So from your insight and the broad perspective you have really looking at everything, what should we be aware of? What are the most significant developments as we speak now in January 2024?
Yeah, thank you very much, Sakis. Also from my side, a warm welcome to everybody on the third day of Heimtextil, the largest fair for home and contract textiles. I'm very happy to have you here and also talk about Techtextil Texprocess in April. And I can tell you, digitalization, of course, will be visible at Techtextil Texprocess in April in 3 months already. So digitalization first, of course, will be visible in our formats, in our exhibition, but mainly with our exhibitors. And when we listen to the industry, we hear that more and more companies are offering digital products, digital solutions year by year at our shows worldwide. And of course, digitalization significantly advancing the industry, and it is an added value also to traditional production and also to the process. So you find this kind of technology in different segments, of course, textile machinery, then textile processing machinery in materials, and of course also in end products. And from the industry side, we also hear that there are a lot of advantages to use it. You have, of course, more cost-effective production. You have resource-friendly background, sustainability. It's a big issue. So I think a lot of advantages might be to use this technology in different segments. And I would like to look to my notes because I would like to give you some examples about digital products. We at Techtextil and Texprocess, we have for many years Techtextil Innovation Award and also Texprocess Innovation Award. Every company can apply for this. We have an international jury who selects innovations based on the products which we see then on our desk. And at the last edition of Texprocess in the year 2022, I would like to mention one example. It's the Conduct Guided Working Software module from Dirkop Adler, which was honored exactly with this Texprocess Innovation Award. And this module is a link between planning, operating personnel, and machine and support all production steps. And this makes even the production more efficient and also fault-free. So you see a very high innovation. And at Techtextil, we have in total 12 application areas, filtration, for example, mobility. We have the medical services is also a huge and very innovative part of Techtextil, but also the garment industry and the sportive industry. And we are looking forward to one product from one company, Bantex. Of course, I can mention many products, but so I only would like to select one from Bantex, and they present electric conductive tapes for various applications, and they can be used for heatable clothing, and also measure detectors on flat roofs or in server rooms, among others. I think it's a very innovative product also at Techtextil, so you can see it for the next edition. And the last example, which I would like to mention, we have a close cooperation with a lot of universities and institutes, and one is TITV Greiz, and they participated in the development of a flexible bionic sensor skin for unmanned robots. And the Institute, and I'm very happy to say this, plans to presenting a demonstrator of this robot at Techtextil at the next edition here in April. So our intention is, together with our exhibitors, to show which kind of digital products are possible, exactly how they use it, and Techtextil Texprocess is a key platform exactly for this kind of presentation.
Wow, a bionic sensor skin for robots, if I got it right. That certainly, I think, is as far as you can go when it comes to innovations.
Absolutely.
And what's interesting to hear that it really covers all sorts of fields and verticals, I think 12 in total even. So it's quite a broad field of innovations. And if we look at the beginning of every innovation journey, we probably have to look to you and your colleagues, of course, because you run the Institute for Textile Technologies at RWTH, Aachen University, as I mentioned. And if you just take us with us into your lab, maybe, and we look at what you're doing there specifically in regards to manufacturing, what do we have to talk about when we talk about digitalization and manufacturing?
Very good question. First of all, I want to, for time reasons, don't go too much into details. I've prepared a kind of position paper which will be distributed afterwards, and of course I'm ready there for any questions of the audience later. Another thing I want to mention is, you mentioned TITV. I think especially Germany has a very rich research landscape. I'm happy to be here, but I'm just representing a very rich research landscape, which is very much interacting with companies and other disciplines, and I think this is the main secret. And the last one, it's not only decades, it's centuries for digitalization, because textile industry was always a pioneer in using digitalization. So the punch card was developed, the first application of digital matters, binary system, was 200 years ago by Mr. Jacquard for controlling weaving looms. So ever since it has been a part. But your question. In many cases, we are just in the beginning. So there are only a very few, maybe a handful examples where we really find Industry 4.0. So that not only the production is connected, but also all the processes, even towards the customer. And this can only be found in a handful of examples worldwide. The most of the companies have, the machines are fully digitalized, top notch. You could see this in ITMA last year, no question about it, but it's only the machine. In some cases, segments of the productions are interconnected. Of course, the most companies have an ERP system, but this is actually Industry 3.0. This is not really taking advantage in means of creating value out of digitalization. And here, it's a long journey. It's a long journey, which of course starts with first steps. And there are examples for that. Like, for example, Schmitzmerke in Emstetten, they started as a fabric producer. Now they are in sun shades. And what they do, for example, they're not only producing the fabric, they're also producing the sunshade, the metalwork and so on. Fine, but then now the digitalization comes in. They are interconnected even with the craftsman. So when you buy a sunshade at your home, the craftsman is coming, taking the measures, and this is transferred into the ERP system, and then backwards the entire process of a custom-made sunshade is made. This is, for example, what I think is really digitalization, not only just using a highly automated.
So not only having IoT at your machinery on the workshop floor, but it's really about connecting B2B, your B2C clients, even. And B2C even. That's what I wanted to ask. Yeah. So how would you then connect B2C?
This is, as I said, there are only a few examples where I invite everybody to look at. And in order to facilitate that, we have two things in our institute. One is the industrial learning factory with McKinsey, the DCC, now ELC, where people can experience what is possible. And then together with the clients, we can learn, and also we can initiate collaboration, because all those transformations, it's not only because our industry is facing the transformation of the business model first, then you have the biotransformation, and then you have the digital transformations pretty much for the companies. The only thing is to do it by cooperation, and you have to provide spaces where people can cooperate. This is one example. The other one is what in German is the German word Mittelstandskompetenzzentrum.
So don't ask me to translate that.
I will do it for you. So competence center for small and medium-sized companies. Again, it's a kind of network, and people can learn and can interact. There are some pilot studies, and in many cases, every big journey starts with a small step. So, for example, for certain areas using augmented reality or interconnect in a kind of manner with an app with your customer. And from this starting point, then, of course, grow into that area. But I would say in 99.999% of the companies, still a way to go.
Still a way to go, and at a high percentage, as I heard. And the most important, and I'll come back to that later, is to really bring everybody together and innovate together. Now, you started with textile industry has been part of digitalization from the very first start.
Always.
You've mentioned even like 100 years or 200 years ago. And then you came with a big but. And I want to play that ball to you, Elga, because as the managing director, of course, of VDMA, Textile Care, Fabric and Leather Technologies, you have an insight into large companies, but also small companies. And I think everything that Thomas talked about, you probably also hear from your member companies. Maybe you could give us an insight what sort of challenges your member companies are currently facing.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the question. Happy New Year to everybody. First of all, have a good year. We wish it for all of us, and of course for Texprocess Techtextil in April too. I want to start maybe one step before, a little bit talking about the current challenges we have. We have to speak definitely, especially focusing Texprocess about the machinery producers for garments and for the processing of technical textiles. And on the other hand, we have our customers, the garment producers worldwide, the producers of technical textiles, the producers of textiles, home textiles. We have them here, the Heimtextil. But the challenges are very similar for everybody. And what our aim is from the machinery side, to help our customers with this, or to overcome these challenges, and that there are so many. Therefore, also brought some very digitized paper cards with me, and because there are so many. And some we don't have so much in the focus. One is, for example, labor shortage. We have labor shortage all over the world. Another one, of course, in everybody's mouth is sustainability. We have so many sustainability issues at the moment. We have the customer questions about this. And of course, we have more and more from the political side, from the regulatory side, more and more rules. And the thing is, they are different around the globe in every country. And so this is really a challenge for everybody. So because the machine has not to do the same in the US or in China or here in Europe. Then we speak always about the resources. Then we speak about, and it's concluded with about textile circular economy. There's also a lot of regulation. We are speaking about ethical working conditions. We have, especially here in Europe and in Germany, law about this supply chain legislation, which is important for the garment producers in the same way for the machinery producers. We have have those changing consumer expectations. And this is interesting because we have on the one hand side, the consumers who ask for more sustainability. On the other hand side, we have a lot of consumers which still are looking for fast fashion, for more and more e-commerce. And we see how fast growing some, especially Chinese companies have been in the last years in this issue. So, and therefore a lot of issues to see. Last but not least, we have this decoupling thing, which is influencing trade between nearly all the nations around the globe. So what is the consequence? The consequence is there is more and more flexibility requested, and this is true for the design area, it's true for the production area, for the logistics area, and for the recycling issue. And this is also very important, or more and more important. So I think these are the most important things. And coming back to your question, our companies started years ago with the digitization thing, with the Industry 4.0 thing. Already back in the 90s, some of them were Industry 4.0 was not a buzzword then, but we had already, because this is a very cooperative industry worldwide, we had already this remote maintenance, predictive maintenance issue by the internet to look into the machines worldwide, to look into production lines, to combine production. But as was said before, that were first steps, and it's going further on, but there is still a way to go. And
maybe one quick sentence to the opportunities. How could you leverage digitalization? And you already mentioned Industry 4.0. What other opportunities would you see?
For the digitization? Olaf mentioned some examples. I want also to mention one example. You had here in Frankfurt, I think 2 days ago, the Techtextil press conference, and there was a very interesting presentation about this, new, very innovative digitization or AI issues in the home textile B2C business, B2B and B2C business, done by Danny Richman. I think you also took part in this discussion, and it was, I think, very interesting to see. Everybody can look it up in the internet if you want, on the Techtextil homepage. And we have similar things also in the garment and fashion industry. For example, one of the exhibitors here in Frankfurt is Assist, a company which is standing for CAD systems, and they will show for the first time several things at the Texprocess in this issues. They have, for example, an AI modeling system which they name IE Create. They will show it the first time here at the Texprocess. Then they introduced, I think now in January, a very realistic presentation for advertising. They call it IE Snapshot, and they will combine also 3D design with CAD cutting systems, and by AI, they make it learning together, those systems. So the systems are updating themselves more and more during their working processes.
Sarkis, I would like to add one point, because you mentioned artificial intelligence. So it's also visible in our trend area here at Techtextil. There are some examples, for example, an artificial image creator, so it's really interactive. So as also as a visitor, you can feel how artificial intelligence is already working in the home textile industry. So only a little advertising also for Techtextil.
So quite a bandwidth of challenges: labor shortage, interconnection globally, planning your stock and everything. and on the one hand AI use cases. So it's really that it's a big field to look at, to do your basic homework on the one side and to really tap into far-reaching brand new innovations on the other end. If we shift from manufacturing maybe to textiles as such, I know Olaf already mentioned the bionic sensor skin. Now, what else would you add to that list, Thomas? What is the situation when we look in the field of smart textiles?
Smart textiles, again, is something new. There was a big peak of excitement 20 years ago, and this is still ongoing. So you see a lot of examples around in different areas. The key hindering thing is that there is actually at the moment no production technology available, and this definitely will also be a topic for Texprocess. How can you produce smart textiles? Because if you can't produce them, they are just demonstrators, and this we have to overcome. This will be definitely a mutual effort from electronic production and textile production, because smart textiles is textiles and electronics, and not textiles plus or something else. And so this is a big challenge. There are examples for that. For example, this morning I met somebody from Müller-Frick. This is a narrow weaving company. The most of them know them. They have started more than 10 years ago for producing an intelligent label. They took technologies which were available in the portfolio of this machine company, band weaving, narrow weaving for making the antenna, then they print some electronical ink on it, and then they flip an RFID chip and then covered it. So from technical wise, it was a good combination, but then the way into the market was quite challenging. So there was a production technology available, there was the product, and it took them more than 10 years to create business with it. Why? First of all, production technology, then business model. The tech costs 10 or 20 cent. But the shirt itself costs only €2. So this was too expensive to just technology push it into the market. They have now found a way, they are now successful with that, because the value of the data is getting more and more important, and not the shirt producer having an intelligent label, but the retailer wants to have the intelligent label because then he has an extra value for that. So the combination of production technology and value creation is a very important issue to to bring the smart textiles from the stage of interesting demonstrators to nice markets. There are examples for that. We have with a cooperation with the Korean Institute, and there was an airbag manufacturer who was just cost-cutting, like airbag business is today. In Techtextil, you see it. But they want to have a value-added product. And they thought about having an airbag for construction workers falling down at construction site. And they have a nice airbag. We developed the special airbag protecting the spinal cord, and the head does not have to be protected because they were helmets. And then we developed the customized electronics from Germany. We took this technology, which is available for avalanche airbags, and combined it. And then, of course, it has to be brought to the Working Labor Safety Organization. You have to do the pricing and so on. And now this is called Minerva. The product can be found into the market. So again, it was a mixture of bringing the different technologies together, producing them, and facilitating the production, and then, of course, the value creation in the market.
You started by speaking about the research as such, including all your colleagues. Was the last bit also already like a peek into what's going on in your lab, actually, into your own research?
That's right. This is one example for that. Again, there are ideas around, a lot of demonstrators, and one big contribution from our institute is especially to develop the production technology. So, for example, at the last Techtprocess, there was at Techtextil, we showed in the sleeping world in a smart cushion, so interacting, giving some well sleeping, whatever this means. This was a demonstrator. And 4 months later, we showed a Texprocess, a microfactory for producing this cushion by combination of stitching and cut and sew.
All right.
But this was a good example, and it was running at Techtextil 24/7, producing smart textiles. And we have last year we have released a roll-to-roll. Metallic coating and pick and place line. This is the first line worldwide which does it with textiles. And this year at Texprocess, the only thing I can announce is the curtain raising. We will again show something new, but today I cannot say what.
No worries. We don't want to spoil everything. But you already brought up the fair again, so maybe let's have a look at that. We heard already some exciting examples of digitalization we might experience there. You mentioned already AI, Olaf. And if you look into that, what else could we expect at both fairs? So what do you think is the level of digitalization if you look at the different companies we can see there?
Yeah, I think we hear already that I would say digitalization is a must for the future of companies. That definitely, not only in the textile industry, also in other industries. And when we listen to our companies, to our exhibitors, our customers, of course, we are close connected to them. We always hear that it's not just about meeting own ambitions. No, it's also because of international regulations, so remaining, of course, to be competitive and complying to local but also international regulations. So everybody knows something about the EU Green Deal and also the EU strategy for sustainability and circular textiles. And there's also a digital product passport. So to meet these requirements, I think it's essential also to use digital tools. And based also on the digital product pass, you need a very transparent documentation of your supply chain. And this is also possible exactly with this tool. Nevertheless, to my knowledge or to our knowledge, the digital readiness, it's not reality for many or all companies. So according to a study of the German Economic Institute from the year 2022, these are only data from Germany, only 30% of the companies meet the requirement to manage their data efficient. So I think there's still to do something, and also a high level of innovation for companies to work this. And of course, we try also as exhibition with Techtextil Texprocess as a key platform to bring the people together. Of course, also to simplify the complexity of this topic, because I think it's not easy sometimes to know exactly what you're doing and to have a perspective from different ways, and also to bring the people together. I think that's really important because it's still a very innovative topic, and we have to learn from each other also to know what we are doing.
That was an insight from your end. We already heard about smart textiles. Let's have a look at technical textiles, Elgar. What kind of developments do you observe currently when it comes to sewing, garment technologies, or processing?
Yeah, I think the developments we had in the last years, they will go further and further. We were a lot speaking here about digitization, and together with digitization always goes automatization. And alone by the factor of work shortage, there will be more and more automatization, more and more combined workflows in the production lines, more and more robotics, definitely. We have to do that because we don't have the workforce to do it by hand anymore in many countries. Of course, we have to face the factor that alone by sustainable issues, we will be more and more forced to bring the production a little bit closer to the end customer. And that means that we have to do production, but also recycling in high-wage countries, and that means definitely automatization, digitization, robotics. We have to see both sides of the production. On the one hand side, the textile machinery side, and on the other hand side, the garment machinery side for the textile machines. I'd like to introduce my colleague Ragnar Strauch from VDMA Textile Machinery here. He's an expert for textile machines. I speak mainly for the garment machines. Yeah, I want to add one good example, I think. We spoke about textile circular economy. What do we do today? On the one hand side, we produce, figures differ 25-30% too much in garments. We throw away every year 25-30% of the produced garments, and they never have been worn. This is one important thing. The other thing is, still today, we throw away most of the used garments. And we have to change this, and this is one of the issues of textile circular economy. And there we have a very simple issue, for example. Today we collect thrown away clothes, textiles, collect them, and then they go to a plant, and they are going to a conveyor belt, and they have to be sorted. But it's done by human beings, because it's very difficult to see, is this machines, is this a t-shirt, is this a coat, and what is the material which is it's made of. And today we don't have any solutions for this in automatization processes. And there comes again automatization and AI. We have to invent camera systems fed by an eye. We speak very often about face recognition. There we can speak about fashion recognition. These systems has to see which thing it is, and they have to sort it, because only when it's sorted we can do a really good circular economy. And I think institutes like yours, you're working on such processes. Many companies are working on such processes, and this will be shown also and speaking about at the Texprocess.
Now, I think we have around 3 or 4 minutes left. So I think maybe I can still squeeze in 3 quick statements. Maybe just add something there. Elga, you already earlier mentioned, of course, the AI use case as an opportunity. What other opportunities could the industry look at when they look at digitalization?
You mean at the Texprocess mainly, or
and generally, because we talked also, of course, a lot about the challenges we have to tackle. What are the benefits, or what is the positive pull?
Yeah, the benefits are being more precise, being very flexible, being quicker, and that's what we need in the future when we especially want to come over with the environmental issues and sustainability issues.
Which is nice, because then automation, which of course we talked a lot about, suddenly has a very distinct purpose. So I guess sustainability and automation and digitalization coming together is actually a very powerful combination.
Exactly.
Olaf, where do you see both fairs positioned in the future? What sort of developments can we expect when we look at the fairs as such?
Yeah, of course, we would like to support the industry, the textile industry, also with our shows into the future. So digitalization, it's a big issue, definitely also for the next edition of Techtextil y Texprocess. So we are looking forward to welcome more than 1,600 exhibitors here in Frankfurt in only 3 months. It will be the 20th edition of Techtextil, so really a successful story for Techtextil, but of course also for Texprocess. For Techtextil, we are looking forward to have the largest Techtextil ever here in Frankfurt. And people and companies are coming from 50 countries from the exhibitor side. In total visitor side, we are looking forward to welcome nations from 100 countries. So it's really a platform, a knowledge platform, and a key platform for exchange, because we have to learn from each other. That's very important. We see a lot of innovative products, and the possibilities for this kind of exchange are also the Techtextil Forum and the Texprocess Forum. There are a lot of experts exactly who are talking about this kind of development, not only in digitalization. We work closely together with our partner VDMA, International Apparel Federation, with Eurotex, with DTB, of course with many universities, also with Professor Grease. So it's important to bring the people together, and that's our understanding also as exhibition company. Bring the people together and look what's happened, go in the right direction, and at the end to see which kind of innovative products are presented by our exhibitors.
And that's something I already could observe today coming here to Heimtextil. The level of internationalization just in the hotels around the fairground is really amazing. Got to say, it was quite enjoyable on the path here. Now, maybe to close it up, you said there's some things you're not allowed to talk about yet, but if you do have the liberty maybe to take us really into the most secret of your research projects or the most promising, something that maybe hasn't reached final stage yet, and what can we expect? What further really far out looking, future-oriented developments?
I think the branch will always be very interesting in means of international and interdisciplinary cooperation. I still remember I was at one of the first Techtextil 30 years ago as a student, and now we have reached so much in the field of technical textiles and also Texprocess, and I'm pretty much excited what the next decade will bring. Definitely one thing which will come is we talk always about the production of the textile and the ready garment or the ready technical textile and Texprocess. But the future will definitely be closing the circle, recycling, whatever. And this again is a big opportunity for automation. It was named because we will do this in high-wage countries. We will do it close to the market in smaller factories. So this is a huge potential for digitalization, for automation. But robotics will be not the same as before, because it will be much more collaborative robots using AI for the control of the robots, but also for the identification. We have to use AI. And this again, all these interesting things only can be done through collaboration between companies, but also between established companies and new companies. You can, for example, there is one startup, Xaifu from Austria, which provides a kind of internet platform, because if you want to do the recycling right, you have to know what is in. These new technology bits do not only come from established companies, market leader, but also from startups, and startups from different branches. And I think the main take-home message is managing transformation through collaboration. And this gives, of course, exhibitions like Techtextil and Texprocess a big role in this transformation, because without these places, we will not meet and we will not create the future.
I think we couldn't have asked for a more perfect closing statement, so I won't add much to it. And thanks a lot for the discussion. I'm very much looking forward to be here again, already in a couple of weeks almost, to meet at Techtextil and Texprocess and talk about all those innovations that are currently happening, to continue the discussion, and as you highlighted, to really come together jointly and leverage digitalization together. Thanks a lot for the insights. And of course, we're not only here to talk to each other, but we're also here to talk to you guys. So I'll invite Yvonne back on stage, because not only do we have really a lot of time for questions here in the audience, and I can already see some fingers going up, but of course also everybody at home at the screen is invited to send us their questions. Yvonne will have them right on her iPad.
Yes, we actually have some questions coming in, but I would say we concentrate on the questions here in the audience first, and then we jump to the digital ones. So yes, are there any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Schmidt, you said we have round about 1,600 exhibitors for Techtextil and Texprocess. Could you divide us? Could you divide that for Texprocess and Techtextil?
Yes, yes, of course. We still get applications. We are very happy about this. So the show will be in 3 months. So at the moment, the status is that we have around figures more than 200 companies for Texprocess and around 1,400 for Techtextil.
The question is for Professor Grease. If the time period from the idea to the commercial production is so long, how long will the West keep on abusing the climate when it was said that 25% of the garments are never used and are dumped?
Very good question. These were examples from the past, and we have to learn from the past and to create an environment where we are much faster. It has to be. Like the textiles example was one of the early pioneers, and now with the knowledge what has to be done, we have to speed up also in recycling. And this is, for example, why we opened the recycling atelier in Augsburg 1 year ago, where we have 25 tech stakeholders, tech partners, and together with them we can create recycling solutions, for example, much faster, because you have to combine technologies, and not even a well-positioned institute as us can solve it, because we only provide textile technologies, but you have to incorporate other technologies. And by these kind of open platforms, bringing together 25 tech partners from different areas, AI and sorting and cutting, then we can, and also having a network to scale it up, create a solution, but also take this 2 or 3 steps into the industry. We have a lot of examples where we develop recycling in solutions in less than 1 year. And this is just one example that through collaboration in these kind of creative makers lab, or how you might call it, they can even, everybody, I like to explain everybody, because we need much more of these hubs, let's say, worldwide, maybe also in India, in Korea, whatever, and I'm open for that, because my belief is only through this kind of collaboration you can speed up, and we have to speed up, for sure.
Maybe I just jump in with a question that came in from the journalist streaming it. It's also for you, Thomas. You said that it's important to partner up, that find collaborations. So in looking at science and industry, they need to work together. How do you see the current state of the cooperation? And do you have like a good example on this maybe as well?
Yes, of course. There are different kind of collaborations. So how the technical textile ecosystem in Germany grew up, it was very much through collaborative research. BMBF, you have this in other countries as well, from MOTSI in Korea, from METI in Japan. So 2 or 3 institutes with a handful of companies developing great solutions. So this was the success story of the last 20 years, and I'm pretty much sure this will also go on, hopefully, in the future. But this is just to create new technologies. To bring them into the market, you need new kinds of collaboration. As I mentioned, this creative lab, which we have for Industry 4.0 since 5 years in Aachen, and since 1.5 years for recycling in Augsburg. We are, in the moment, planning to have such a creative lab also for smart textiles, and also for chemical recycling. And these kind of, as I said, where you bring on the stage 25 or maybe a dozen to 25 tech partners for one topic, and to create new solutions. This speeds is a new element, which has to be multiplied. And then, of course, afterwards, if you then have a solution, then, of course, commercialization with 12 partners, you can try it, but don't do it. Then, of course, you have to find partnerships maybe of 2 or 3. And there are some examples for that. The most of them, before they are entering the market, are not to be disclosed, of course, because it's like before the marriage, you should not talk about what's behind the curtain. But then, of course, typically for then utilizing the recycling solution. Then for the commercializations, there are 2 or 3 partners to be involved and then to make joint ventures. But I'm pretty much sure will be much more joint ventures in the future because smart textiles, electronics and textiles. Not an electronic company, not a textile company alone can do it.
Thank you. There's another question in the audience. I think we go on with this.
Two very short questions, I hope. The first one is about the situation of the technical textiles market, actually, because some years Techtextil is held in booming market conditions and sometimes is in challenging market conditions. So how is the moment now? And the second one is about the technology. We talk about automatization, digitalization, robotization, and then we have talked this year about artificial intelligence, and we have seen a very clever proposition in the first day, which connects or tries to connect the customer with the process of the production. If this goes on, can we foresee in any future a quite self-autonomous process taking self-decisions all over the process, in the management of everything, from the market from the customer to the production, may I say?
Just a short starting remark, and then I'd like to hand over. Technical textiles has been now a success story for the last 2 or 3 decades. And as every success story, you have to reinvent. And it's a lot of those technical textile big markets already have to become very cost competitive, airbags, geotextile, whatever. And so you have to reinvent. Then, of course, as I said, you have to meet, you have to be inspired, and you start a big journey. And therefore, an exhibition like Techtextil and Texprocess is a very good place to come and to get inspired. Like we have all been inspired 20 years ago, but we have to reinvent the innovation again.
Yeah. Sorry, I think only one sentence. When we look to Techtextil in the last years, we see, as I mentioned already, we have 12 application areas, and every 2 years, when we look to our exhibitors, we see new products for new, perhaps also for new applications in one application area. So I think there's still very innovative, also in close connection with universities and also institutes. So I'm really optimistic about this, and so I travel a lot, and when I look to the international textile industry, they invest a lot also to be part of this business, because, you know, apparel industry, home textile industry sometimes is a little suffering, and technical textiles is growing, so it's still a high potential in this market, and this is also then visible at our show here in Frankfurt, but also at Techtextil in the United States or in China.
Autonomous process? Is it something technical? I mean, artificial intelligence driving an autonomous system of production. Do you foresee that?
I'm not a friend of this fully autonomous production. My vision is something different. So we will much more have a collaborative robotics, collaborative production. So people, experts are taken for that what they can do better, faster, quicker, together with automated solutions, either AI or robot-based. So what we will see in the future much more is a kind of collaborative automation, because it has to be flexible, it has to be close to the market, and therefore we will see definitely a different kind of automation than you have probably in mind from car production or whatever.
Thank you. So I think who's looking at the time, we're kind of running out of time. I'd say one more question, the closing question. Yes, please.
So my question is a bit about the intersection of competitiveness, economics, and doing what's right. I respect the EU textile strategy and what's going on over the next few years, but I was talking to an exhibitor here yesterday at length who has a factory in China and also in Europe, and he was talking about in the last 3 years his cost of labor here has gone up 30%, and in China it's only gone up 2%. And adding in all of these regulations, I see the long-term benefit of European business, but what's going to happen short-term for the companies here in Europe that are implementing all of these things when the cost in Asia is not even close to competitive?
I mean, it's true what you said, that during the last years, China is in a different position. They also have no inflation, more or less no inflation, since we in the West had a lot of inflation, as we know. And the other thing is they don't have labor shortage. They have a lot of labor at the moment because a lot of people lost their jobs during the pandemic. Nevertheless, they developed very fast in terms of digitization of AI in many fields. Definitely, this is a challenge, yes, but we have this sustainable issue, and we have to look at this, and we have to handle this, and so transportation is also a part of it, and so the production will be more local in the future because we can afford too much transportation because of sustainable issues, because it's a part of the CO2 or the digital product passport of the CO2 thing, and it will play a more and more important role. But as I mentioned before, at the moment we have these two developments. On the one hand side, more sustainability, which is requested by many people, many customers, but also more and more authorities. On the other hand side, of course, many people are still looking for fast fashion, for cheap products. So, but we have to handle this, and we have to see how we can handle also this fast fashion issue. And also there, it's important to work with very intelligent systems to reduce the waste. As I said before, we can't afford to throw away 30% of our produced products, and individualized production through AI will become more and more important.
Thank you very much, Elke. So I think we just stop here. All our speakers are available for interviews, so just approach them, and if you have any more questions, just talk to all three of them. But we also have with us today the new show director. I'd really like to introduce Sabine. Sabine Schacher is responsible for Techtextil and Texprocess. So if you have any questions to her, please approach her as well. Now, there's going to be a recording available on our website. There's a press kit ready for you. If you need any further information, contact my team. They're just in the back of the room, or me. And I hope you have some good takeaways from today. And I'm gonna see you in April for Techtextil and Texprocess with loads more of information for digitalization and probably on AI as well, I guess. So thank you very much. Thank you to the speakers as well, and have a good day here at Techtextil.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yvonne.